up, guys? So y'all see the title and thumbnail. Today's video is all about the Radar Renegade X. So ever since I got my first set back in 2023, I have gotten a ton of questions asking for my input on the tires, what they sound like, what they look like, what they ride like, all those different questions, just overall my experience with owning them. Now, the first set was the ones on the Duramax, 37, 13, 50, 22 on a big 22, 14 wide wheel. They were huge. They looked absolutely monstrous, and that was my introduction to the brand. Now, I did look it up. They supposedly dropped in 2021, but I feel like I was one of the first to really showcase the tire, and I had a good experience with them, but there was one downside to it, which we'll get into in a minute. This is my second set, 35, 12, 50, 17 that we've been running on Champa for quite a while now. They've been to the beach on the VMAX, and now they're back on here. I've put a lot of miles on them, so I have a really good idea on the overall tire itself, how it's going to treat you, how it sounds, how it rides, all of these different things. And so today we got a whole list right here we're going to go through from, I guess, my personal perspective of what I look for in a tire all the way down to, actually buying it. So with that said, on the list, starting off, number one, looks, because that's what draws you to the tire. If you don't like the way it looks, then you're not going to like the tire and you're not going to buy the tire. So let's run some B-roll on how the old Radars look. Now, of course, looks is personal preference and everybody's opinion is going to be different. But as far as these tires on this truck, I absolutely love them. I really, really enjoy them. Now, you saw them on the VMAX as well. I like them on the VMAX, but I definitely don't think they look as good as on here. And that's kind of funny how different trucks with the same setup can look dramatically different. And that's definitely the case here. So yeah, the tires are not changing at all, but I love them on here and I like them on the VMAX. Now, y'all saw the B-roll from the Duramax's OG setup. The 37, I think they were 13, 50, 22, 22, 14 wheels. At first, when I got those, I really liked them. And then as like the weeks went by and I saw it more and more, I was like, they kind of look cheapo. That's my only way to describe them. It's kind of cheap looking, which I don't think they do here. I think they look absolutely amazing and I love them. But when they were on the Duramax with those wheels, with that, like that whole setup, they just look cheapo to me for some reason. So, like I said, everybody's personal preference on looks and everything. You might hate this, you might not. It is what it is. We're gonna give them a 7 out of 10. 7 out of, no we're not. No we're not. We're gonna give them an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10, all right. 8 out of 10. Next on the list, sizes, because if they don't have the size that you want, then obviously this tire is not even up for consideration. So, I've looked them up and they do offer a lot of sizes, but not as many as like a Gladiator. They do make a 35, 12, 50, 22. So that is one up on mud graps. Nitto, please, for the love of everything, just make a 35, 12, 50, 22, at least mud grap. 24s is different though. Same as the mud graps, they don't offer that. 35, 12, 50, 24 is just not available yet. Maybe they will change that. Hopefully Nitto will as well. Not available, you can't get it. But they do have it for a 22. There's a bunch of different, obviously, small sizes. This is a 17, 35. So a bunch of different small sizes. Obviously, they have 33 for a 20, 35 for a 20, the normal, like, normal people setup. Yeah, so as far as sizes go, I'm gonna say that is a 9 out of 10. Because really the only one that they don't have that I would potentially run would be a 35, 12, 50, 24, and they don't have a 1350 24 either. Just they don't have one for a 24 in a 35. Number 3, and probably the most important, prices, because even if you love the way they look, they have the size that you need. If you can't afford it, then you can't freaking afford it. And that is where I think this tire shines, because this is probably one of the most affordable, good looking, I can't talk about the rest. We're gonna get to those on the list. Pricing, absolutely amazing. So this setup right here, which is typically on the cheaper side with a 17-inch wheel, 35, 12, 50, 17. I paid locally at a local dealer, $1,040. And I've seen them even like 20 bucks cheaper than that. So as far as a $1,000 tire, I don't think you can beat it, man. Some of the other Chinese stuff, they either don't look good, they don't ride good, or you'll wear them out in 20,000 miles. None of which is going to be the case here as far as my experience. So as far as money goes, they're absolutely killing it. Now, I don't know if the tariffs and everything is going to affect them. I think your typical 35, 12, 50, 20 is going to run you about $1,300, $1,400. So, you know, creeping up there, X-Comp kind of money, starting to rain. So Rip Audio. Price-wise, I think they're really good. So we're going to give them, I mean, it could always be cheaper, right? We're going to give them an 8 out of 10 for prices. Super good, affordable tire that you're not going to replace every single year on your truck. Number 4, longevity, because the last thing you want to do is spend your hard-earned money for a tire that is only going to last you 20,000 miles. Now, listen here. If it's your fault that it only lasts 20,000 miles, everybody that runs mud grabs and kills them in 20,000 miles, it's your fault. That is your fault, because the tires can last longer than that. If you never rotate them, you have the wrong PSI in them, you have a crapped out front end, you're going to kill a mud tire, and it's just not even going to last 10,000 miles. You're going to wear them slap out, they're going to get uneven, they're going to ride bad, they're going to sound bad. All of those things can happen if you don't take care of them. Past Chase here, and I wanted to give y'all some info on the radars because I know I'm making a radar video. So I think I'm putting these on the VMAX to take to the beach, so we're going to have a lot more miles and I'll have a lot more insight for y'all. But I wanted to give you an update before we did that because these tires are absolutely amazing. Look, we still have the nipples almost all the way around. These are the back that have been on chomper. You can see here on the front, they're still there, except right in the middle. And I have taken like 3 2-hour trips in chomper with these tires on there. And I've also done like, I don't know, 10 to 20 trips into town, little 15-minute drives. So I don't know exactly how many miles so far we have on them, but they're literally still brand new, 0 tread loss, and I've put quite a few miles and probably 10 hours on these things, which is pretty impressive. From my experience and from things that I've seen, guys running these on the highway long term, you can get really good mileage out of these tires, which you also can do with mud graps. Like I said, they're easier to mess up. Mud graps definitely are easier to mess up if you do some of the things wrong. These tires, I have seen a lot of people saying a lot of good things about high mileage. As far as I go, I mean, I got several thousand, I should have kept track, but they've been on different trucks. We drove them to the beach on the VMAX. I've done 112 marketplace runs on these things. And honestly, they still look brand freaking new, which I'm sure you've already seen up close and stuff from it. I think longevity-wise, you'd have no issue running these 40,000 miles. Of course, it depends on how much you drive, what kind of driving you do, what kind of truck you have, because it's going to be vastly different if it's on a 1500 or a Duramax. Just based off of weight alone, there's going to be a dramatic decrease in the longevity. So I don't know what they say the tire is rated for. They probably don't even, because once you put a mileage on it, then people will complain when it doesn't get there. As far as my experience, these things are going to last. We'll do an 8 out of 10 as well. Not that these ratings necessarily matter that much. Number 5, honestly, a category that I wouldn't even put on this list because I'm a freaking man. But I get it. Some people drive long road trips. They got sensitive family members, or maybe they got sensitive ears. Either way, sound. I guess it is really important on your mud tires. What do they sound like? Are they screaming? Are they quiet? Are they in the middle? Do they have a weird sound? Because I'll tell you what, I ran some Chinese tires that had some weird sounds, and that's way more annoying than a overly loud mud grap, which I like the sound of. The weird sound can definitely be very, very annoying. So I say we go get some sound clips for y'all, because I already know what they sound like. Let's hit the road. Let me know what you think. Mud graps on fresh black top, absolutely insane, loudest they'll ever be. Well, maybe a little bit louder if it's fresh black top and it's wet. That's just ultimate scream. But here's your sound sound test of the Radars, 40 miles an hour, fresh blacktop. Literally can barely even hear them. Super quiet tire. Hopefully the audio translated good over to y'all, but dude, these things are freaking quiet, way quieter than I expected. Honestly, the first time I drove them with them on the Duramax, I was like really, really surprised because you literally could not hear them. And on here with my exhaust, same on the VMAX, you literally don't hear the tires cruising down the interstate. I have to be off the gas looking to hear them to actually hear them. Even on wet roads, like you saw in that one clip, not bad at all, which is absolutely awesome. So for those that are sensitive to the tire noise, they got to get a 10 out of 10. They have to, because for this aggressive of a tire to sound as quiet as they are, and it's not a bad sound. It's not one of those annoying, weird sounds. It got to be a 10 out of 10. Before we get to the bonus round, which is the Radars versus the Graps, we got the last one, number 6, which, funny enough, on a list talking about mud tires, is at the bottom, traction. And it's at the bottom because most people buy mud tires purely for the look. It is important. Now, as far as my experience with them, I haven't tested them out that much, I'll be honest. So I've been to the beach, been in a little sand, obviously out here in the field. I haven't been down a management area, slick red mud, 100-mile dirt road with them, nothing like that. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna give this a no score because I haven't really tested them, but I did want to put it on the list. So for those that have taken your trucks with these tires out into the woods or the dirt roads, whatever the case, let everybody else know in the comments, because you don't want to have all these things good and then you actually need your mud tires to do good in the mud and they don't do good. So I don't freaking know, but I should have took them out there instead of the X comps when we went to the field. But yeah, I could also test it now, but is it worth it? I just washed my truck. I don't think it's worth it. I see this mostly on Instagram. The Renegades versus Graps. There is 2 categories where these tires are better than the mud Graps, and 2 alone. I am not biased. I am not sponsored directly by someone sending me tires. I paid full price for these. I paid full price for the mud Graps wherever they're at, whatever truck they're on. The Swampers over there. So this is unbiased, just personal preference, right? So the 2 categories that this tire does do better than Graps is, 1, in price, because you're gonna spend several $100s more to get a set of Graps than you are for these. Now, is it worth it for the looks? Because there's no getting around it, and I guess this is personal preference as well. A mud Grap looks better than this. There's flat out, there's no getting around that. A Grap will always look better than this. A Grap will, in my opinion, aside from maybe like a Bogger, Thornbirds are nasty. I mean, there's some other nasty mud tires, but as far as one that rides good, nah, I'm still saying mud Graps are the best tire ever made. I've just been obsessed with them since I could even breathe. So, yeah, mud Graps, they look better. But as far as price goes, they are not nearly as affordable. So these tires are definitely better in that category. The other category would be sound. And that is also personal preference because I love the way mud Graps sound. I think they sound absolutely glorious. And even though they are much louder than these tires, I still would rather listen to a Grap any day than not really hear anything, because I don't know, it just adds to the whole driving experience to me. You can't beat a freaking Grap, okay? I don't care. I love them and they don't bother me whatsoever, but to somebody that wants a quieter tire, this is most certainly a quieter tire. Now, as far as ride quality goes between them, honestly, I'd say they're pretty close. I've ran a ton of Graps. I've never gotten a single set that ever rode bad. That is all gonna be you buying them used from somebody that didn't take care of them, or your wheel is messed up, or it wasn't balanced out, or something is up, because like I said, I've ran a bunch of different Graps and they've all been absolutely perfect, from 1 mile an hour, no weird rolly filling the lugs like you get with Gladiators, to 95 miles an hour down the interstate. Still smooth as butter, absolutely no issue. But that is the same case as this. There is no weird mile per hour that these things do not ride good whatsoever. So that's probably a toss-up. I'd say they're probably tied as far as like ride quality goes. I haven't seen really any negativity online like you see about a lot of these other manufacturers that, the tread rips off, they have sidewall blowout, all these kind of things. Maybe it's because they don't run, or they don't have the options for the larger wheels with, smaller size. I don't know. Maybe this is just a really good tire. I think that's my full input on it. It's a really good tire. And if you can get them for a good deal, possibly even cheaper than you can find them online, hit up a local plug. Dude, I love them. I think they look great. Only thing you gotta look out for, once again, like I said, certain setups, they can look a little cheap. But other than that, I really have nothing to say about this thing. So I'm gonna quit rambling. Hopefully y'all did enjoy. Drop a comment. Let me know what your input is on the old Renegade Radar Renegade X. I should know the name by now. That's it, boys. Drop a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, ring that bell notification. I'll see y'all boys in the next one.